Okay, this one's about Tate and Xapela are welcomed by the Day people. Beato commanded Tate to take form of a man and go live with the Day people. After you have learned how they are doing, take the form of a spirit again. The Day people lived together in regions under the world. They were very content. Their only cares was to serve the spirits when they were visited. Ate ruled them as a father. They obeyed him as his children. There were many of the Day people. A few were very old, and some were just old. More than these were in their prime, and more than these were young people. There were more youth than young people, and more children and babies than youth. All respected their ancestors and cherished their offspring and loved their relatives. Some were superior because of their ability. Of these, Wazi was most superior. Therefore, he was accepted as a leader of the people. One day, a strong and healthy stranger in his prime appeared. The people were very curious about him. The elders discussed him. Some favored his banishment, others favored his adoption. Ate heard them and said, "A stranger is a friend until he has proven to be an enemy. If he accepts our hospitality, he is a guest as long as he is with us. And if he leaves with us, he is Kola. Or if he lives with us, he is Kola." Wazi spoke to the stranger. "Who are you? Where do you come from? Where do you like to live? And where are you going?" "I am a man, so named according to your custom. I come to live with the Day people. When and where I go, I know not," said the stranger. Then in full sight of all the people, Wazi led the stranger through the door of his wife's lodge. Wakanka, the wife of Wazi, was a wise woman and a seer. She could predict many things that would happen in the future. She served food to Wazi and the stranger, and together they ate it. When they had eaten it, Wakanka said, "I serve the spirits, and Mahbiato foretells me many things to me. I foresee much good for those who shout to the stranger." Wazi spoke to the stranger and said, "Kola, live with me in this lodge of Wakanka, and you shall be like our son. While I am with the Day people, I shall dwell as a son of Wakanka, according to your customs of the people," said Kola. Ite, the daughter of Wakanka and Wazi, was the most beautiful of all women. She was young, and she had built no lodge of her own. She looked in the faces of many young men and smiled. She sat with none of them beside her mother's fire, though many times to do so. Wazi and Kola often sat together in the lodge of Wakanka and talked. They were good friends. As they talked, Ite sat beside her mother and listened. Neither of them spoke to Kola, nor did they look at him. The young man said, "Ite no longer desires a lodge of her own." Kola often glanced at Ite. He thought she became more beautiful all the time. He mixed with the people, but hurried in return to the lodge of Wakanka. Wakanka noticed this and said to Ite, "Daughter, the thoughts of Kola are of you. He is more than a man. There will be much pleasure in the lodge where he dwells. Mother, let us prepare materials, for I would like to have a lodge of my own," said Ite. The next time that Kola sat in the lodge of Wakanka, Ite sat near him. Then there appeared among the Day people a stranger. He was a young and very handsome man. Wazia said to him, "Who are you? Where'd you come from? And where are you going?" "I'm Xapela. My mother, whose kingdom is in the world, sent me to give pleasure to the people. I am going to the place from where I have just come. But I will come again if the people desire amusement, for I obey my mother's command." said the stranger. Live with us as our guest, said Wazi. Then many people invited Sapela to live with them. He replied that he would live for a while in the lodge of each person. In this way, he would show that he was friendly to everyone. The people came together, and Sapela amused them by making jokes on the words of Ksa and by tricks. Again, they gathered together, and he amused them with statuary and ridicule. Once again they assembled, and he amused them with the clownish trickery and funny sayings. The people laughed very loudly. Ite was there, and she led the applause. Sapela looked on her with lust. She looked in his face and smiled. Kola was there. He was puzzled, for he did not recognize Sapela. We and Holly were there also, for their nightly rest. Holly wanted to know why the people were laughing so loudly. Sapela appeared before him, and she commanded him to amuse her. He made jokes about Ksa and made fun of Maka and Mope and mocked Unk. We smiled, and Holly laughed heartily while the people clapped. Can't you make fun of Ite? Asked Holly. It would be wrong to make fun of you, the most beautiful of the spirits, or Ite, the most beautiful of women, said Sapela. The next time that Kola sat in the lodge of Walkanka, Ite sat beside her mother. Kola was gloomy. Then she stood up alone. Then she stood alone outside her mother's lodge. Sapela approached her. She did not turn her back towards him. He came and said, the Pte people are favored. Your parents are more favored, but most favored will be that man who you will lead through the door of your lodge. For you are beautiful beyond comparison. Even Holly, the most beautiful of the spirits, envies you. You are more than a mere woman. You should sit with the spirits rather than serve them. My mother is a spirit, and she has her own kingdom. I sit with her, and she favors me so that my whole life is a never-ending pleasure. Come with me, and together we will go make my mother's kingdom. Go to my mother's kingdom. Then you shall be like a spirit. My parents, my kindred, my duty. What of them? Said Ite. You are godlike and superior to the rules of duty and responsibility. Come with me, and you'll be free as you desire. Come where your beauty will make everyone serve you, just like your beauty now overpowers me, said Sapela. Sit in my mother's lodge and tell her what you have told me, said Ite. I will come again, said Sapela. Then Ite was alone with her mother. When Ite was alone with her mother, she said, Mother, look into the future and tell me about Sapela. He is more than a man. He makes people happy only for very selfish reasons, said Walkanka. Sapela watched. When Kola mixed with the people, he entered the lodge of Walkanka and sat down. He said to Wazi, Your wife is the wisest of all women. Your daughter is the most beautiful of beings. You are the leader of all men. The spirits have favored you to become the chief of all people. When you are the chief, you will be like the spirits. You will be able to do what the spirits do. The people will worship you, your wife, and your daughter. Later, Kola sat in the lodge of Wankanka. Wazi told him all that Sapela said. Beware of the stranger that promises much, said Kola. What about him who makes no promise? Asked Ite. Consider his deeds, replied Kola. Afterwards, when she was alone with her mother, Ite said, Kola doesn't speak to me, even when I sit beside him. He is blind to my beauty. Sapela wanted to talk to me. He praised me with beautiful words. When I sat next to Kola, I felt almost worthless. But I feel happy. Sapela raised me up with promises and praises, but I don't feel happy with him. One of these two will sit at the place of your honor in your lodge. I cannot foresee which it will be, because your parents shall be like because of you your parents shall be like the spirits. Test each one and choose him who will help your future the most, said Wankanka. Later, Kola passed by. Ide stood alone outside her mother's lodge and smiled at him. With an eager look, he stretched out his arms and stepped towards her. But he suddenly dropped his head and left her. Xapela was spying and saw this. He hurried to Ide and said, "None of the people who dwell here under the world can know your worth. Only I value you as you are. Come with me to the world and there your smiles will accomplish anything you want." "I cannot answer you now," said Ite. "It is as an obedient son I must go tell my mother of your beauty. But I will return, and I will follow you until you go with me to honor my mother's kingdom," said Xapela.